Jaya Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Vihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha, Jaya Girivaradhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha, Jaya Girivaradhari. Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Vihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Radha Vallabha, Radha Vallabha, Sri Radhe. Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Nitya Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitya Gaura Hari Bol. Sri Sri Gauritai ki, Sri Sri Radha Bhagavan ki, Sri 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 Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Mai ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitya Gaur Paramanande. Hare Krishna. Thank you all for assembling for today's Śrīmad Bhāgavatam class, that too on Monday, and very rare souls are here. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, out of many millions, only few try for perfection. And of course, among them, only few achieve perfection. And all those who are here definitely are the ones who are achieved perfection or achieving perfection. Thank you. So today Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 13. The title of the chapter is Indra afflicted by sinful reaction. So far we haven't heard about what reaction Indra has actually afflicted with, but hopefully today we will see what was the reaction of his killing with Vraja-ra. So verse number for us is 12? No, 11. Okay, verse number 11. So let us read. Before we read, let's invite auspicious. Yes. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. So let us first read word by word and then we will read the full line. So it will be more easier. Taya Indra Sma Asahat Tapam Nirvita Na Amum Avisat Hrimantam Vachayatam Praptam Sukayanti Api No Gunaha Tavendraha Samaha Tapam Tayendra Samsa Tapam Nirvite Namunam Avishat Nirvite Namum Avishat Hirimantam Vachayatam Praptam Hrimantam Vachayantam Praptam Sukayanti Apino Gunaha Sukayanti Apino Gunaha Tayendra samsatapam nirvite nam avishat Hrimanantam vachayantam praptam Sukayanti apino gunaha Tayendra samsatapam tapam Nirvite nam avishat Hemantam vachayantam praptam Sukayanti apino gunaha Tayendra samsatapam Nirvite nam avishat Kirimantam vachayantam praptam Sukayanti apino gunaha. Vaishnavas. Tayendra samsat Nirvite nam avishat Nirvitam vachayantam praptam Sukayanti apino gunaha. Tayendriya samsatapam Nirvite namno navishat Parimantam vachayantam praptam Sukayanti apino gunaha. Tayendra samsatapam Sukayanti. Sukayanti apino gunaha. Tayendriya samsatapam Nirvite nam avishat Sukayanti apino gunaha. Thank you. So let us read word by word translation. Taya, by that action. Indraha, King Indra. Sma, indeed. Ashat, suffered. Tapam, misery. Nirvite, happiness. Na, not. Amam, him. Avishat, entered. Hrimantam, one who is shameful. Vachayantam, ill fame. Praptam, obtaining. Sukhayanti, give pleasure. Api, although. No, not. Gunaha, good qualifications like possessing opulence. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Following the advice of the demigods, Indra killed Vritasur, and he suffered because of the sinful killing. Although the other demigods were happy, he could not derive happiness from the killing of Vritasur. Indra's good qualities, such as tolerance and opulence, could not help him in his grief. Purport: one cannot be happy by committing sinful acts, even if one is endowed with material opulence. Indra found this to be true. People begin to blaspheme him, saying, "This person has killed a Brahmana for the sake of enjoying heavenly material happiness." Therefore, in spite of being king of heaven and enjoying material opulence, Indra was always unhappy because of the accusations of the populace. Om Ajnana Trimindasya Jnanaja Salakaya Chaksurinvitamena Tasme Sri Guruve Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishnapadaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namini. Namaste Saraswadevi Gavarvani Pracharini Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pachata Deshatarini. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Siddhaita Gadadara Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktavanda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So today's verse is clearly highlighting the episode that that involved this battle between Vritasur and Indra, and we have already heard several times how the battle went on, and of course during that battle Indra felt also ashamed, not only after winning this battle but also before. So during the battle, you have seen in previous chapter, also in this chapter. So when Vritasura was able to hit back to Indra, and his thunderbolt that supposed to kill him actually fell down. So when it fell down, so he was feeling really ashamed to pick it up. So that is when Vritasura has given him sermon discourse so nicely, just like key summary of Bhagavad Gita. So the way Lord Sri Krishna has taught Arjuna to inspire him and motivate him to perform his duty, his real duty. So he was trying to, finding ways and means to avoid it, but Lord Krishna has inspired, Arjuna. Similarly here, Vritasura also inspired Indra to pick up the weapon and, perform his duty. Anyway, he performed, and we saw finally, in terms of bodily killing, so Vritasura was died. Then this chapter is primarily talking about what was the reaction that Indra has afflicted with as a result of killing Vritasur. Vritasur was a Brahmin. So there were reactions. So what were those reactions this verse is really talking about? So when we go through even line by line or even word by word, we can have a very clear understanding of what's actually happening. So just to read this translation again so that we remember and what are the points to focus on. Following the advice of the demigods, Indra killed Vritasur, and he suffered because of the sinful killing. Although the other demigods were happy, he could not derive happiness from the killing of Vritasur. Indra's other good qualities, such as tolerance and opulence, could not help him in his grief. So, looking at the key words within this verse, obviously it clearly says that Vritasura has killed. Indra has killed Vritasur, And who is this Vraja-ra? So let us take a look at the qualities of this Vraja-ra. The first line, Taya, by that action. What is that action? That killing of Vraja-ra. Within Sanskrit, we don't see explicitly, but the action, because this always links to the previous verses. The previous verse already clearly stated that he killed. But here, by that action, Taya, Indra. So Indra's action was killing Vraja-ra. And he not only killed one who has a external body that looks like a demon, but internally Vraja-ra was a great devotee. How do we know that? Not because he gave a speech, discourse, but even the Lord himself has told Indra that Vraja-ra is a great devotee, do not fear. You can, by my own strength, my strength, so I invested a power, and that is the weapon you're going to get. So that is what Lord has said. Of course, from the teaching, usually when we see devotees or Mahatmas, who are really Mahatmas? Often when we read, even in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam and Bhagavad Gita, so we hear, so Lord generally says, those who are devoted to Him purely are Mahatmas. And these Mahatmas possess lots of very good qualities. And one of them they are very, not only knowledgeable, but they also have understanding. See, knowledge is one thing, understanding is another thing. Sometimes we have knowledge, we can read through a whole book in a full day, but we may not get that knowledge, understanding, realization. So, Vraja-ra is someone who has a clear understanding and able to instruct or teach Indra right point at right time. So throughout the battle, there are so many incidents happened. So at different points, so he has glorified Lord. Not only glorified Lord, and then what is the duty? Then also assuring him that he will even win. And also, of course, he also said that this victory or success or a failure or a defeat, so these are already ordained by Lord. In your case, Lord has already granted you. So do not fear. So he has very nice understanding of when it comes to the relations with the Lord. So Indra is supposed to be representative of Lord and ruling over some of the activities in the material world. So he has very good understanding. So in chapter 9, so when Indra and all the Devaganas approached Supreme Lord for protection from Vraja-ra. So at that time they prayed to Lord, mostly seeking his help in killing Vraja-ra. That's all. Even though Lord has appeared, when they started praying, he has appeared. So usually when devotees get darshan of a Lord, so we have many examples within Śrīmad Bhāgavatam talking about how various devotees, sometimes with material desire, they performed tapas, like Dhruva Maharaj. But when Lord Narayana has appeared, so they just forgot whatever they were desiring materially, but instead, so they were fully surrendered to Lord. Then when Lord said that, okay, please ask what you want, what is your boon you were seeking? He said, no, the boon that we were seeking was simply broken piece of glass. So that kind of realization they got. So, having darshan of Lord itself is bigger than becoming, king of this whole universe. So they were so much of, when you have presence of Lord, and when Lord touches you, so you are achieving Satchidananda. In front of the Satchidananda, what is this material position? On the other hand, here we see all the demigods headed by Indra. So they were seeking boon that somehow Lord kill or do something about it. So during that time, Lord is assuring them. That when Vraja-ra is killed because of my spiritual strength, so it is not because Indra has any special weapon, although there was a weapon that was instructed by Lord, that thunderbolt made from bone of the Dasa Muni. But ultimately it is the spiritual strength that Lord is investing in it. Because of that, so he will be able to kill Vraja-ra. So, of course, once he kills, so he will get opulence. So that is already said in this verse also. One of the qualities is opulence. Then, of course, so Vraja-ra is so powerful that he can destroy 3 worlds. So we will see. Actually, some of the purport by Acharya say that actually Indra didn't really kill Vraja-ra. We will go through that more. But he had that ability to kill, destroy the 3 worlds. But Lord is assuring that do not fear. So because this Vraja-ra is a devotee. So he is a great devotee, and he is great devotee, never envious of anyone. So he is assuring. So when they are envious, so there can be more problem. But because here is a great devotee, so therefore he is not envious at all. And these devotees possess many, good qualities. Sometimes we say godly qualities, not only just godly qualities, beyond those transcendental qualities. So in Bhagavad Gita, Lord also says, so these devotees are, in Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma platform. So they are in a transcendental platform. They realize Supreme Lord. So at that, we can be at Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma. So then of course they don't lament about things nor cry about it. So they always, so Sama Sarvesu Bhutesu. So Sama Sarvesu Bhutesu. So they look at all the living entities equally. Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma, one who is on Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma platform, very pure devotee. So he sees, Lord in everybody's heart. That's why he's very kind and nice to everyone. So this is the level of platform that, Vraja-ra was. So that is one of the reasons why Indra was, feeling morose even after killing Vraja-ra. So here in the verse we see in the purport, in the translation, the demigods were very happy. Not only demigods, even the sages were also happy. In the previous verse of that is 11, it says, on advice of sages. So that means this Indra has received advice from sages and also demigods. Demigods is fellow rulers. So he is the king, but there are other ministers. So he is more like a chief minister, and others are ministers of some portfolio. So other demigods have inspired him and encouraged him to, kill Vraja-ra. So it started with following the advice of demigods. So Indra killed Vraja-ra. So therefore, sometime taking advice of demigods can maybe not good at all the time. Correct? So if you want, certain things, so you pray to me, so therefore I will grant you. So it may not be good in your long term, in your interest, but however, demigods will give you. So when they are granting, in one sense, they are also giving advice. So advice is that no problem, we continue, and we are giving you, whatever you are desiring. But if you don't do it, then they will also take revenge on you. So we have seen even Lord Krishna lifting Govardhan hill. Why did he lift? Because the Vrajavasis didn't one of the time perform Indra's puja. So he was very angry that they are defying him. So instead of performing puja for Indra, they performed to Giri Govardhan. So, he has shown his reaction. So that can happen. So just because you are following, instructions to please demigods for many, many, many thousands of years, but if 1 or 2 times if you don't, then you will get immediate reaction from them also. So both reward and punishment immediate. So here, with taking advice from demigods, Indra killed Vraja-ra, and then because of that he suffered many sinful sins. So that is said in the third one line, tapam. Sometimes we may read tapam, actually tapa. Tapa means miseries. So demigods are happy, sages were happy, but Indra is feeling miserable. In this, primarily because he knows that he killed a Brahmana, or he killed a Vaishnava. Prabhupada says often that, you have Brahmana and Vaishnava. Prabhupada says that Vaishnava is greater than Brahmana, Because Vaishnava already has Brahmana qualities. Brahmanas may not have Vaishnava qualities, but Vaishnavas have Brahmana qualities. So in I think previously, so there was a comparison. If you have $1 million, so which means you already have some thousands of dollars. Correct? If you have thousands of dollars, you cannot say I have $1 million. But one who has $1 million, definitely you can say he has got 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, 500,000, 900,000, 999,000. So he has all those money, but not other way around. So therefore, so Vaishnava has got many more qualities, many more good qualities than you can find in Brahmana. So what are the qualities of Vaishnava? So in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj, so who is author of Chaitanya Charitamrita, he has actually listed, he has identified 26 qualities of Vaishnava. And if you look at each of those 26 qualities, you will see many of these qualities are directly exhibited by Vritasura even during battlefield. Say for example, so this Vaishnava is very kind to everyone, even to enemies. So here Vritasura was very kind to Indra. See, when weapon is fell down, so Vritasura didn't attack him. He is encouraging him to pick up the weapon. But on the other hand, demigods, initially when they were defeating these demons, all the soldiers of demons, the Vritasura side, they all started running away. When they were running away, the demigods, they started firing weapons at back of them and killing them. So that is when he started his discourse, saying that when enemy is running away, means he is surrendering. So killing them makes no sense. So here it says, he is so very kind to everyone. So Vritasura has demonstrated his quality that he is very kind actually. So because of his kindness only, he is encouraging him. Come on, so pick up your weapon, and inspiring him and making him to fire at him. Then of course he is truthful. Vritasura, whatever he has spoken, very truthful statements. So he might have deceived him to defeat him, but he spoke truthfully to inspire him, including telling him that this weapon that is actually endowed with power, that spiritual power, not any other power, spiritual power. Material power can be somehow through some magic or through some mantra, you can reduce its strength, whereas spiritual strength of the Lord you can't. So that is unlimited strength. So he is very, very truthful. Then he was also magnanimous. Only magnanimous personality will give benefit of doubt and also inspire his enemies to pick up. Usually everyone wants to kill the enemies, envious. So here very magnanimous. So then of course, so he surrendered to Lord Krishna. Devotees, Vaishnavas are surrendered to Lord Krishna. And here in previous chapter we have seen the great qualities of Vritasura. So he has transcendental qualities. Even the chapter name itself was Transcendental Qualities of Vritasura, Demon Vritasura. Even though demon is emphasized, that is actually externally. Internally he was a pure devotee. So then, so he is not affected by illusionary energy of Lord. So Supreme Lord, Krishna. So he has primarily two kinds of energy. You can classify into two kinds of energy. We also have energy, correct? So we can speak, we can lift a glass and drink water. Of course, that ability comes from Lord Krishna only. So many people cannot drink. If you go to hospital, they struggle to drink drop of water, milk. Our ability to drink water, ability to accept prasada, honor prasada, and ability to digest prasada, more importantly, that comes from Lord only. Okay, so we have two kinds. Broadly you can classify Lord's energy into two types. One as Antaranga Shakti, other is Bahiranga Shakti. Antaranga, the internal energy. Bahiranga, Bhar, external energy. So external, generally when we are in this material world, we are most of the time influenced or ruled by external energy. So these are called modes of material nature. Correct? Sometimes we behave very nicely, sometimes very cranky. So what is that actually influencing us? Primarily because of that external energy. External energy will always, up and down. Sometimes in mode of goodness, sometimes mode in ignorance, sometimes mode of passion, sometimes mixed mode. Combination of all three. So that is why we have so many people with so many qualities. Correct? So, and that quality can change from time to time. So because of this influence under illusionary energy, so we behave the way we behave. Whereas Vritasura, the pure Vaishnavas, they are not under the influence of illusionary energy, that external energy. Because they have taken shelter of Supreme Lord, so therefore they are connected to Supreme Lord and they are under the influence of spiritual energy. Prabhupada used to say, so even though he moved from the birthplace of, appearance place of Lord Sri Krishna in Vrindavan, from there he went to even New York or Los Angeles or Paris or London or different places, and he came to Melbourne too. So he carried Supreme Lord in his heart. Correct? So wherever he is, that became a dham. So the fact that Prabhupada was here, this became a dham. Correct? It became a holy place. Dham means holy place. There are many places, every place has a place. But however, this is a very spiritual or pure place. So when a devotee, a pure devotee put his steps, and every steps, wherever he is and wherever he put his flag to as a embassy to broadcast the glories of Lord. Usually what do embassies do? We have various embassies, like a German embassy or American embassy in Melbourne, in Canberra. Correct? Indian embassy in here nearby in Melbourne. What are they doing? They are primarily glorifying that country, or connecting that country with the rest of the people here so that business transaction can take place. Correct? So you make some juice from here, send it to India, or bring something software from India to Australia. This is what they are doing, encouraging. Or promote the country. So promote some of the country's programs so that everybody here feels good about it. So same thing here. So the devotees of Lord, such as Prabhupada, so they want to promote teachings of Lord Krishna, Supreme Lord, teachings in Vedas for the good of humanity. It is not that they just want to broadcast, but they want to broadcast good qualities and the great qualities, and then they also identify the kind of suffering the people, the living entities, the people or anyone have in this material world, then encouraging to let's go back. Let's go back to real home, where you can be in Satchidananda, correct? Always in blissful state. Not only just blissful state, but also full of knowledge and eternally. So, in company of Supreme Lord. And the place of no anxiety, that's Vaikuntha Lokas. So whereas in Melbourne we have anxiety right from morning to evening, sleeping. Even while dreaming, in sleeping also we get dreams. In dream also there are lots of anxiety, miseries. Correct? So not always the dreams are blissful, sometime. So but other time, maybe 30-40% of our sleeping time is in dream only. Some you remember, some you don't remember. Those who remember often very horrifying. Correct? So we can't even sleep peacefully in this world. Even after working 8 hours or 10 hours or 15 hours, depending upon the situation. So you can't sleep peacefully also. So that is the kind of place. So therefore, they are canvassing, they are encouraging everyone to come back to home. You are lost here. So you have a father who has unlimited opulence. Correct? The place of no anxiety, no quarrelsome. So peaceful place. Everybody is divine conscious. So encouraging. So actually that is the goal. The goal of establishing this temple is to educate everyone in Melbourne so that they develop divinely qualities and get qualification to go back to spiritual world at the end of this life. That is the goal. There is no other goal. So just to glorify Lord more and more, so that you know about that place. That's the whole idea. If someone comes to tell you, tells you more about how nice it is to be like living in, let us say, in America, then you start developing desires. Okay, let me do something about, immigrating to America. Like now that I migrated to Australia, but somebody is glorifying America, let's go to there. Unless they tell you, you will not know. So somebody has to tell how great life is there. And not only great, there's full of opportunities in terms of earning money. And in terms of facility, better than Australia. Like that, some actually promote. So when they promote, then you develop a desire, then slowly you'll find out where to go there. Similarly, same thing here. So here, the devotees are always, want everyone to well. So they are, well-wishers of all the living entities. Brahma Bhuta Prasthanatma. Not only, themselves in blissful state, but also they want everyone to be happy. So therefore, they are educating everyone. And that is why Prabhupada says, ISKCON is not just a temple. It is a place of education, spiritual education. So we also need deity. So to attract common people. So when they see beautiful farm, so looks like, let's go to that place where they actually reside. So here we are just showing a model. So how they look like and kind of relationship that you can have, and always blissful. So they're always canvassing and well wishes. And of course he is very merciful. Then he is poetic. So when devotees glorify the Lord, when you read that their glorification is very poetic. Every word is powerful. In fact, this verse, so we simply focus on each word. We can speak for days and days. So powerful. So very poetic. And of course, Vraja-ra. So also very, very poetically explained to, Indra. So he essentially became a spiritual master for Indra. Correct? So becoming a spiritual master of a king of heaven is, requires certain qualification. Correct? So just to become a teacher in some primary school, you have to study for 25 years, then pass so many exams. Finally, you become a teacher in a small primary school here in Middle Park. Correct? Yeah, so our both three kids are saying yes. So the teacher, of course, students also should have a qualification too. Not every student can simply walk in and say, I am a student of Middle Park. They also need to have a qualification. What is their qualification? They should be living in this area. That's a qualification. They should be born to a person who is living in this area. Correct? You can say, my father, this is my father's address. You don't have to say where you are living. This is my father's address. Therefore, they will admit you. Correct? Those are qualifications. So similarly, Vraja-ra had demonic body, but he was, as a Vaishnava, very expert and poetic. So his teachings are so powerful. If you just simply read teachings of or qualities of Vraja-ra, this is like reading, Bhagavad Gita. So very, very clear. So of course in Bhagavad Gita you got so many verses, starting from Karma Yoga, then Bhakti Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Jnana Yoga. So by going through so many statements, we might get confused. Which one to follow? So it is confusion. So that is why we have, many transcendentalists of various types, starting from, Mayavadis to, transcendentalists. So all are transcendentalists, from Mayavadis to Brahman realization, to yogis who are super soul realization, to the devotees who realize Supreme Brahman. So we have varieties in between various permutation and combination. So many. So here that varietiness is also shown. So different realization. Okay, anyway, everyone need to have a qualification even in small suburb within Melbourne. So similarly, if you want to go to spiritual world, you also need to have great qualification. and qualities. So here, so Vritrasura is very poetic. So that is why he is able to explain, qualities of Supreme Lord. Even he says within battlefield, what happens? Either you will kill someone or someone will kill you. In a Vedic system, when they go to battlefield, until one of the party wins, they will not leave the place. If it was a perfect battlefield. Otherwise, they will run away. Okay, in this battlefield also happened. Sometimes demigods run away, sometimes demons run away. So to protect themselves, when there is a onslaught of weapons, you feel like there is no any hope of winning or fighting. Let's run away. So that's what happened. So here, so even in that situation, very poetically explaining and saying that this victory or defeat are actually not because of our strength, it is actually Lord ordains. He says, in your case, so he's giving example, not only teaching instructions very clearly and glorifying, but also in the context of Indra, he is able to explain. So very expert and poetic. So that is 25th quality is the devotee is expert, then he is poetic, and of course he says devotee is silent. So devotee doesn't speak all the time. Prabhupada says that, so Maunavarta, people do Maunavarta. They say no speaking anything. According to Prabhupada, real Maunavarta is, if you speak about glories of Supreme Lord, teachings in Bhagavad Gita, teaching from Bhagavad Gita or some of the pastimes of Lord. So speak about those, only those. And anything else, no speaking. So that is called Maunavarta, real Maunavarta. So whenever his tongue does some work, so it either chants holy name or speaks about glories of Lord or enlighten everyone so that they become divinely persons. Then of course you can also use tongue for tasting prasada. We have to survive as well, correct? That's the business of tongue. So using tongue for always those divinely purpose. So that is a silent. So the devotee is very silent always. So these 26 qualities, if you go through, they all are, exhibited by Vritrasura. So I was just picking up some prominent ones that he exhibited explicitly at battlefield. So next, of course, we heard about qualities of Vaishnava, Vritrasura in that context. Then, so with this killing, so what is the result that, result of killing Vritrasura? What did this Indra gain? So he says, praptam. Praptam means obtained. What did he obtain? So he obtained, so you can see here, tapa, not tapa. Like if there is so much of heat, what do you get? Tapa, that's misery. So he got misery. Then he also got sins. Of course, sins because of the sin of killing. So he got misery. Then he also felt shameful. So usually when people win in the battle, after the battle they will go and celebrate. Whether it is battle or any other things. Usually when people, for example, when there is election, one party wins, other party defeats. The elected party will celebrate. Whole night celebration. And in places like India, not simply celebrating in one place, but they will celebrate on the street. They will make a chariot and put that person on the chariot and then keep celebrating. In front there will be, all the drums, this and that resounding, and they celebrate so much. That happens everywhere. So that's what they do. But whereas in case of Indra, he was feeling really ashamed of this whole killing. So he was really because of that. Then of course the sin was very strong. The reaction of the sin. And sometimes when we make some, impious activity, so, we get reaction immediately. Not always. So you do something, so which is maybe considered criminal or illegal. Some people get reaction immediate. some get reaction maybe after 10 years, some get reaction at the end of their life, some actually get reaction at next life. So the karmic reaction, not always immediate. Correct? So, and sometimes we get reaction not because of this life, but because of previous life. People say, oh, this person is, so pious and living and so generous, so charitable and so healthy, looks very healthy. But suddenly something happened to him and died. Or maybe, suffering from, suddenly all of a sudden, in a moment, suffering started. Correct? Maybe some deformity in the body, something happened. So this is because of previous karma, previous life karma. For some people, that fructifying your karmic reaction, for some people immediate, some people it will take more time. Okay, in case of Indra, it seems very immediate. In fact, if you see the next verse, immediate. We are saying that because of the sin of killing, he started experiencing tapa, misery. Then what actually happened? So Indra saw personified sinful reaction changing him. Personified sinful reaction. See, sinful reaction, personification come from various ways. In case of Indra, what happened? Suddenly what appeared? A Chandala woman appeared. And who is that Chandala woman? Who was inflicted with tuberculosis, like they call TB, tuberculosis. The person who has tuberculosis, they will actually, when they vomit, when they cough, they vomit blood, and blood on her body. And so this lady appeared, and then just by looking at her, Indra got frightened. And when you get frightened, what do? Run away. Correct? When somebody scares you, what do? You don't sit down here. Maybe you look at your mother. Okay, no problem, mother is there, no need to worry. Correct? Otherwise, you look at Father Koti. Correct? Oh, no, why should I worry about my father has made, upma for so many years, and every devotee is happy and opulence, that power is there. Correct? So you will feel comfortable. But if nobody is there, what do? You run away. That's what Indra did. When Indra started running, he's saying, wait and wait and wait. Correct? So that is a sin. Just because of killing, the first reaction was that he saw, this Chandala in a horrific situation and then got frightened, very frightening. I think Indra didn't got frightened by looking at Vitasur, but he got so much frightened just by looking at this Chandala. That was a reaction. And this reaction of, not only, frightened, but he actually didn't get food for 1,000 years. So what happened? When this sin personified Chandala woman appeared, so he started running and running, running towards sky. He flew, because he can fly. So he was able to fly to sky. Then he started running, and this woman keep chasing him. So then what did happen? So wherever he went, she followed him. So therefore, so he was thinking, what do I do? Where do I take shelter? He immediately saw, northeast, and he entered into Manasu Sarovar. Manasu Sarovar. So there, in a lotus stem, he entered into lotus stem and then started hiding there. And he stayed there in a fearful state for 1,000 years. This reaction is because of killing a Vaishnava, killing Vritasur. So that was a reaction. That was a sin is killing, then the reaction, tapa. Not only that, for 1,000 years he couldn't get any food to eat. Who is the another friend of this Indra? For example, Agnidev. Agnidev is a friend of Indra, isn't it? So what do? Agnidev, whenever we perform yajna, we do the offering. Swaha, Agnidev is accepting. So he thought, okay, I can give this food to Indra. But he went there and Indra is hiding in Manasu Sarovara. Sarovara means, a lake, big lake. So to offer him his share of that, whatever he got in yajna share, he cannot do it because he has to dip inside the water. If the fire is deep inside water, what happens? The fire power is lost. So therefore this Agnidev thought, no, my power will decrease, I am not going to do that. So he also didn't help him at all. So therefore demigods who were actually happy when Indra killed Vratasur, correct? But Indra was not happy. Even though they were happy, when it comes to the time of feeding him some little prasada they got through Yajna, and even that also they didn't do. So there was a problem. So you can see in material world, you might be doing so many things for your associates and partners, everyone. When the time comes, no one will save you. They will only think about themselves. Correct? So, so here, of course, Indra, suffered from Adi-bhautik miseries. So in Bhagavad Gita, Lord says 3 kinds of miseries. Miseries caused by our mind and our body. Our body causes so much of misery. Correct? So you are born and maybe 20, 30, 35, sometimes we can't see everything clearly. So that is why we need help of spec. Right? Why do we need spec? Sometimes people put a spec just for show off, Ray-Ban glass. Correct? That is for show off. Other people are sincere. They don't need to show off. They need help. If I want to see deities very, very clearly, so how the Matajis have decorated Radharani very clearly, then I need help of spec. If it is very far away, I still need to see. Maybe I have to need a telescope. If I want to see who is in moon planet, Chandraloka, who all are living in moon planet, so I need a very powerful telescope. That's what people are doing. So, so these are the miseries caused by our body and mind, and miseries caused by other living entities. In case of Indra, so this sin personified Chandala woman was chasing him. So it's the other living entity. Indra is one, that Chandala is other living entity. So misery is caused by other living entities. So Indra also can face this. What to speak of us small, insignificant living beings here on earth, here in Australia, here in Melbourne, here in Albert Park. So everyone will undergo. Then of course sometimes misery is caused by nature. Nature is not helping. In this case he is just dipped inside Manasa Sarovar and being inside a water for 1,000 years without food. Is it fun? No. Correct? When we go to beach and dip inside, so first few seconds, not minute, few seconds we feel happy, then come out, suffocating. And especially no food, difficult. Correct? Yeah, unless you are a fish. The fish inside lives very happily, it can find a food, but whereas we can't find in our present body. Correct? So these miseries, so he suffered that misery also. So, and of course, his Agnidev didn't help him as well, even though he's supposed to help him. Agnidev is the subordinate of Indra. So that means subordinate also won't help you. Correct? So that is the challenge. So, and then on top of it, this is emotional problem. He is feeling ashamed that he killed. So when you are ashamed, you don't feel happy. Sometimes you become a millionaire, but you became a millionaire by robbing Commonwealth Bank of Australia, which is supposed to be more richer than other banks. Correct? Will you feel happy? May not be. But instead you have done some big business. Then you earn that money, legally. Correct? Then plus the Queen of Australia. Who is the Queen of Australia? Australia has a queen? Yes. So Queen of Australia gave him some award. The Australian of the Year. So he feels very proud, very happy, honored. But here in this case, Indra is feeling ashamed. See, ashamed because he knows that this Vratasura is actually a great devotee and he has experienced himself. And in fact, because of Vratasura kindness, he allowed him to kill him. Otherwise, Vratasura was powerful. Lord says here, Vratasura can devour 3 worlds. What to speak of Indra? Indra is only in that heavenly planet. The world, upper and middle and lower planets. So he can swallow whole 3 worlds. He can destroy. Such powerful personality. And he allowed him. Correct? So felt very shameful. Then of course, ill fame. The fame is not there. So here Prabhupada in purport saying that this Indra is sinful fellow. He killed Brahmin. So even though he is a king, so king feels, very ill feeling. So the fame was also ill. That's what he obtained. That's praptam. That's what he obtained. So that was the problem. So even in chapter 2, verse 34, Lord says, for a respectable person, dishonor is worse than death. A person is respectable. If somebody dishonors the respectable person, is worse than death. They prefer to die rather than live. Dishonor. Even in Mahabharata, so we saw, when some people are insulted, they prefer death rather than living. So Lord also says here, if you don't do your duty, you get infamy. Of course, in this case, Indra did. So he got infamy because he killed such a great devotee. So these are the reaction he got. Then he also says, the last statement. So Indra, even though he had a great qualities, the last verse says guna. Sukyanti api no guna. So he didn't derive any happiness, although he had great qualities. What are the great qualities or qualifications? So he is the king of heaven. Then his opulence is so high, very prestigious position. Still, he was not happy. That was the last statement. This no looks like a knot. It's almost like a Sanskrit, English and Sanskrit seems like same. So that is why sometimes they say Sanskrit is the mother of all languages. So here some of the words we don't need to actually translate. There's a proof here. So api no gunaha. No means not. No happiness, not happiness. In spite of having guna, good qualifications. So still he was not happy. That didn't help him. This Prabhupada translation says that could not help him in his grief. Because he was so much feeling grief, tapa, sad. So, but still that didn't help. So therefore sometimes we think, if you have a big balance, or if you have a high birth, or coming from a big family, or have a high position in Australia, we think that will protect us. They are not going to protect. What can protect is your divinely qualities. So here in this case, Vritasur, even at the time of death, he was very, very happy. Why was he happy? Because his consciousness was divine. If you see throughout his instruction, he was saying that, talking about Supreme Lord, he says, you kill me, I really want to go back to, Godhead, go back to Vaikuntha Loka. Sankarshan, Lord Sankarshan was Devata, I want to go back. He is very clear about what he's going to achieve, better than what current position. So because of that, his consciousness was full of divine. The divine quality is very, very important. So this divine quality is actually foundation for happiness. Why is it foundation for happiness? When the person qualities, consciousness is divine, our consciousness, then next is, intelligence. His intelligence will be spiritual. So we talk about material intelligence and spiritual intelligence. A person with divinely qualities, his intelligence will also be spiritual. When person intelligence is spiritual, that means he is guided by spiritual intelligence. When you are guided by spiritual intelligence, your mind will be steady. Correct? So mind is working under the direction of intelligence. Correct? We say we can, make or break in our mind. All happiness and distress, whatever it is all in the mind. So often people are not suffering from physical problem. In Australia, especially, they don't have physical problem. Sometimes physical problem is problem of getting food, no problem. Problem of shelter, no problem. Correct? So reasonably easy. But still people are suffering from mental health problem. Now the biggest disease in Australia is mental health problem. So in the mind, and this mind is guided by intelligence. And if the intelligence is completely material, we will think of, I want this, okay, I got it, not satisfied. I want that, I got it, not satisfied. Like this, simply one after other, and never satisfied. Correct? I want iPhone, right now iPhone version 11. Okay, I'm happy for a few days. Then suddenly those company will announce iPhone 15. Then your friend has iPhone 15, you want that also. It's like this, somehow mind will not allow you to be happy with what you got. Because of that, mind is not steady at all. You can only steady your mind only when our intelligence is spiritual. So person in this world, some people appreciate you, some people defame you. But the person who is steady, that's Sita Prajna, he can take both equally. Lord says, in Bhagavad Gita, Sitosra Sukha Dukkhada. So whether honor or dishonor, so a person who is able to treat them equally, that person is called Sita Prajna, and that person is very dear to me. That's what Lord is saying. So who can be in that level? Only person with a steady mind. And if your mind is very steady, definitely you will be peaceful. And when you are peaceful, you will be happy. Correct? So these foundation, and in this case, Vraja-ra, was because of his divine consciousness throughout that battlefield. So he was able to, be peaceful and happy. And in fact, the last statement in purport, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, so he is saying that actually, who was victorious? According to him, Vritasura was victorious. Although we think Indra is victorious because he killed Vritasura, but actually Vritasura is victorious. Because immediately after leaving this body, he went back to Vaikuntha Loka where Lord Sankarsana is. Whereas Indra is rotting in this world, not only rotting but also having so much of sinful reaction, so much of suffering. And Chandala chasing him, no food, being a heavenly king but no food, starving for 1,000 years. Not a joke, isn't it? How much misery, tapa he has undergone. So if you don't get breakfast, prasada, we become moros. Correct? And no lunch prasada, even more moros. Correct? So our morousness and our suffering and pain will increase. So if you say no, 2 days no food, very difficult. But whereas Indra, even though he has the opulence, but he can't get food at all for 1,000 years. That's a problem. So actually, Vritasura, what did he do? He opened his mouth so big, one chin he put on the ground, other the sky. Simply swallowed. Not only swallowed Indra, what did he swallow? He swallowed his Airavata also, that is his carrier. Correct? His vehicle. That Airavata elephant was vehicle of Indra. He swallowed both Indra, his vehicle, his weapon, whatever he has got, swallowed him. Then after swallowing, of course, he thought, I will killed. Then he went into yogic trance. Then in that trance, he left the body and went back. Indra is still inside. He was being cooked. But because he got Narayana Kavacha from whom? That mantra from Vritasura's brother previously, Vishwarupa. Correct? So that previous Brahmana whom he killed. So using that one mantra, he is able to come out of this his abdomen. So he thought, okay, he killed him, but actually Vritasura is already left. So therefore, Vritasura didn't wait even for Indra to kill. So what Indra was able to kill is the dead body. Cut off his dead body. Correct? So sometimes people, in anger, they just cut off the dead body. Body is dead. They think, I killed this person. That's what actually happened. And he just used a thunderbolt and, that weapon he had thrown towards Vritasura's body. And then weapon, it seems, for 1 year, it just went around his neck and killed. Neck is very thick. It took 1 year to cut off his neck, to remove this head from the rest of the body. But by that time he already left. Vritasura is not waiting for physical leaving, because he went to yogic trance in yoga samadhi. That's what. So his consciousness is so high, and he is able to control his breathing, and he can see his spiritual spark, his soul, and is able to leave it, and in yogic trance he left. And that is when actually Indra is able to come out of his body. If he was in fully alive, he will stiffen his stomach. Correct? Sometimes people can stiff their stomach so that even if you kick them to stomach, nothing happens. The people who play karate, correct? So you hit them in the stomach, nothing happens. Your finger will break. They are like a stone. Correct? So such a powerful personality. So it is impossible once you go inside his stomach, all that can happen digestion only. But he left the body and he was still alive, and he had that Narayana Kavacha was given to him by Vishwarupa previously. So that with that mantra he is able to come out along with his Airavata also. Right? So this is what Acharya Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says. So therefore here victory is Vritasura's. Not only that, in his original consciousness. So he is able to go back to Godhead. And there of course go back to Godhead means what? Become associate of Supreme Lord. So Lord Sankarshan. Who is Lord Sankarshan? Expansion of Balaram. Who is Balaram? Personal expansion of Krishna. In one sense is a Krishna only. Correct? So although he may not be living in Golok Vrindavan, but he is Vaikuntha Loka in spiritual world. So that was his Vritasura's sister Devata. So he went back to Sankarsana, Lord Sankarsana, and became his associate. When you become associate, what do? Play with him. Correct? So go with him wherever he is going. Like if you become my associate, what do? You come with me. If I go to other place, you will come with me too. Like you become associate of your friend, what do? He said, let's go out. So you will go with him. Let's go and have prasada, you will go with him. Let's say we had prasada, let's play. Correct? Let's water the plants, for example. So you do so many things together. So they became associate. Okay? So that is the real, instruction. And from this life of Vritasura, we can see from today's source very clearly that divinely qualities are exhibited by Vritasura. Externally he was looking like a demon, but internally he was a great devotee. And since Indra has thought he killed him, so therefore, even that in illusion only he suffered so much. Now sometimes we think, so we can be protected from so many things. Nothing can protect. Even the position like Indra cannot protect you from sin of killing Brahmana. So if every evening we do, or early morning, Mangal time they do Tulsi Puja. The last statement, what is that says? Yani kani chapapani brahma hatya di kani cha tani tani pranasanti pradakshana pade pade. When you do pradakshana to Tulsi Maharani, even the sin of killing Brahmana will be nullified. Looks like there was no Tulsi tree near this Indra. Even if Tulsi tree was there, I don't know whether he knew that if you do one encircling of Tulsi, you can nullify the effect of or sin of killing Brahmana. Correct? So, but anyway, here Indra used his method of hiding there for 1,000 years and somehow it diminished. So you will see those more discussion later. But you can see, so nothing can protect. Sometimes we think, our higher education can, high parentage can protect us. Sometimes people feel, I am son of king of somebody. Correct? So, a son of a queen. So, nothing can protect. We have seen this world, so much of trouble. So, only thing what can protect? The mercy of Lord. In fact, Prabhupada says that one who realizes that only Lord's mercy can save him, nothing else, that person is humble. Who is humble? Prabhupada asks, who is humble? The person, one who, does not consider high parentage, education, position, wealth, power. They don't protect. Only mercy of Supreme Lord. And only one who depends on the mercy of Supreme Lord is a humble person. Nothing else. So here, Vritasura, exhibited so great qualities. So anyone who follows his footsteps definitely will be happy. And that is exhibited here. Okay, so these are some key, messages that we can take from today's verse, understanding qualities of Vritasura and the reaction that Indra suffered because of killing such a great devotee. Then of course we also discuss about some of the qualities exhibited by Indra from Vritasura explicitly during battlefield. Then ultimately who was victorious? Actually Vritasura victorious because he fulfilled success, aim of this life. Ultimate aim of life is to go back to Godhead. So in battlefield, if you go back, so you are successful. Other person may be here. So physically, he only cut off his dead body because he himself left by his own yogic trance. So those are the qualities that Vritasura has. And then, so therefore, we need to look at internal Suddhi. Often, we think of external Suddhi so much, but internal Suddhi is very, very important. So which is what we do by chanting Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna mantra is about chanting, purifying our internal heart filled with all the dirt. Okay? So, okay, with that let me stop here. So thank you very much. If you have any comments or questions, I'm happy to take. Hare Krishna. Otherwise, time for prasada. So prasada waiting. All right, Hare Krishna. You can always ask me later. Hare Bol.